I'm just a poor wayfaring stranger.
Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. I am sitting here in Illinois, waiting on a little bit of snow tomorrow, and I wanted to play with some numbers on my board. So what we did here is each week since February, 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, the 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, 29th. Alright, now in the blue we have our deadhead percentage. In the red, average weight per load. In the black we have our net profit. And on the bottom we have our total miles in green. I like to do this as a visual representation of what I've actually done through the weeks, just to see if there's something that really sticks out. And the first thing that stuck out at me was this week right here. It was my most profitable week with my least average weight per load. My deadhead percent was, I guess, average. My total miles was probably in the average zone, but my profit was up. My average weight per load had dropped way down. Over here, we had a repair or something. That's why that one went way down. So that's explainable. But look at this first week over in February. I was recovering from a very bad January. That's the one thing I do remember about that. Look, profit was way down. Average weight per load wasn't real bad. 2,400 miles, but 40% of that was deadhead. 40% of that was deadhead. What a week. You see that correspondence? Way up, way down. The next week, we had 15% deadhead. 3,028 miles. Profit went up a little bit, but the average weight per load was still up pretty good, okay? And then the next week, our profit went on up a couple $100 more. Deadhead percentage went up to 21.6. We did 3,300 miles. The average weight per load went down, and it corresponds with the profit going up. Look at this. Okay. Now, we move on to the next week. 35% deadhead. So that went up, profit dropped. Average weight per load went up, profit dropped. We only drove 2,450 miles. Profit drop. So you drove less, hauled heavier loads, had more deadhead. All three of those things changed, which drove the profit down significantly. Now the next week we brought our deadhead down. We drove a few more miles, hauled lighter loads, so that brought the profit up. Those three things make a huge difference on your week's profit. Now, the next week we brought the deadhead on down a little bit more to 19.4%. We drove 2,600 miles. We drove less. Our heavier loads and the result was our profit dropped. So, we dropped our deadhead, which was good. We drove less. Hauled heavier load, profit drop. Okay. Now the next week our deadhead went up, but we drove more. We drove 3,000 miles. Hauled a little bit heavier loads than the week previous, but our profit went up. This week here was because we drove more, and we still had a little bit higher deadhead than what we'd like to have, because that's a lot of driving that's just empty miles. All right, the next week, 30.8% deadhead. 3,000 miles roundabout. We hauled 27,759 average weight per load, but we had some kind of repair that week, so we really can't judge that good. What was that repair? I don't have my board, my book with me. I just have my little scrapbook that I was studying with. So, and then our final week, we dropped our deadhead way on down to 13.5%, drove 2,758 miles, profited $13.94. Our average weight per load went down again. So there again, we got a correspondence between average weight per load going down and profit going up. Deadhead going down, profit going up. Driving pretty good, profit going up. So, moral of the story is we want to haul light loads. Lower our deadhead. Make more loaded miles. I forgot my E. Those three things, like I say, the correspondence right here was pretty good. We dropped the weight of the loads and drove that profit up. And what happens is when you haul the lighter load, you get better fuel mileage. So the better fuel mileage drives my profit up. Your fuel is your biggest expense out here next to your truck notes. Manage your fuel and you'll see your numbers go up. Manage your weight on your load. See, a lot of companies have dispatch. Now I understand, but when you choose your own loads, you can move around things and change the way you operate. You can have more loaded paid miles. You can lower your deadhead by picking closer loads. You can haul lighter loads. See, my situation is with the deadhead, I'm going to get home because I have responsibilities at home. Unlike single guys that are out here, they have me at a disadvantage. They can make more money any time of the week because they don't have to be home like I need to be home. Now, if y'all notice anything else that I might have missed by doing this board, y'all feel free to comment. Feel free to comment. I know I had some dumb weeks. I had some fairly good weeks. That's why we do these, and we lay it all out, and we try to find the patterns. It's simple. Seeing this big of a change, the load weight down and the profit up, will make me pick better loads this next week. When I'm picking my loads, I'm going to be looking for a little bit lighter load. When I'm picking my loads, I'm going to be looking for closer loads. Now, to get that perfect formula of a light load with a low deadhead is hard on this program because we are only able to work off of Snyder's board. And that's it. Snyder's board, and that's it. Unless you have your own authority and you're running under Snyder, all you have to choose from is just their board. And not all their loads are light. Matter of fact, a lot of their loads are over 35,000 pounds. To find those light loads, you have to know the shippers and be watching for those loads to pop up. You have to study that load board to know when and where those loads are. And sometimes these loads don't pay but $1.15, $1.20 per mile. I know because I've watched a few of them that are close to my home, and let me tell you, if they would go up on the money, I would sure be hauling them, but the money just not there. I had a deadhead this week a pretty good bit. I'm probably going to be up here at this range, but that profit's going to be on up here in this area. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do to make a check. You can't sit at home and wait on those perfect loads, but you can do everything you can to pick the best load available. Anyhow, that's my little deal this week. I just wanted to share with you my pretty little board that I drew, and was just trying to do some association between the four columns and just give me some visualization of my work. God bless. Catch you on the next ride.